Can I ask Saverio, from emerging technologies, some of the challenges on Lesbos, for example, for the last 5 years, asylum seekers and refugees go to the hospital, and then you have this situation where locals come and they're waiting in queues and get frustrated, and the doctors don't necessarily understand, don't have records of when the full record of the refugees. They're not sure when they come back before. They don't speak the language. There's all these type of frustrations from a health perspective, and also from an educational perspective. Whilst educational technologies and so forth that are out there, it's not been adopted. So if you can share with us your thoughts on what type of emerging technologies you could think that could be implemented, that, for example, could be implemented within the camps to make life easier and more effective solutions, more efficient solutions, where technology is also actually reducing costs because of simplifying processes. So if you can just...
Okay. I mean, thank you for inviting me to this. It's really one of my first call on this topic. I'm coming from a strongly technological background. I've done policy, European policy on tech, so I'll try to bring a bit of my experience also on, let's say, smart cities, smart communities development, which maybe some ideas can be used. And I want to connect immediately to a concept Kilian said. We should be carried away by the beauty of technology. If blockchain is cool, it's not necessarily needed. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. The Internet of Things is cool, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. What it dictates the use of certain technology is the context. So we need to understand the context, and technology needs to adapt to the context in order to provide tools and services. That means, for example, in the concept, in the idea of smart city, which I do not like, well, let's call smart communities, that you need to design a strategy on how and which type of technologies you need to implement. Because there are plenty of technologies that, in theory, someone coming from outside like me on Lesbos will say, why don't you use this? Why don't you use that? And then you tell me, yeah, you are cool. You come in here and tell this stuff. You don't know what's going on. And the context and the people are going to use the tech is the fundamental point of view. Tech is almost secondary. Yeah. Then I can tell you, Vasilis, there is a lot. You talk about use of doctors in a remote way. Okay, we can do remote diagnostic. We can do telemedicine. Yes, cool. You can do it. There is the tech there to do it. Now, is the context prepared to adopt that? Is the doctors community in Lesbos able to adopt that? There is the digital culture to adopt that. This is not just a problem of Lesbos. It's a problem everywhere. We talk about tech, a lot of fascination of tech without being culturally prepared to use it. Yeah. So definitely, I also believe if I draw from the smart city story in which I've been involved for almost 5-6 years now, you have two types of development of smart cities. The one in which you take technologies into an existing cities, yeah, and you use tech to enhance the services of the cities. And then you have smart cities basically starting from scratch. And that requires an integration with the architectural side of it, with the sociological side of it. So now I believe in a camp, which I personally believe should have been there, we should find a different solutions to the problem, but we should think about really a collaborative approach to the development, let's call it of a smart camp. Yeah. And the technology they're out there. I mean, Dimitrios can, I'm sure we'll add on it, but there are plenty of tech. On the educational side, plenty of tech could be from connectivity. You don't really need maybe super broadband for certain things. If you want to monitor the quality of the water into the camp, You can do it without having broadband, but with employing certain other type of technologies in association to sensors. And that can go on. But I think in order to answer properly your question, we need to understand the context. We need to design a strategy for that, to understand how outputs you are going to use, and we need to educate, because the educated part is probably in tech all over the planet is the most important part. You know, Rudy is teaching Scratch, which is fantastic. Yeah, I would suggest to him, oh, come on, Rudy, jump up on Python, which Python is slightly a bit more powerful than Scratch if you want to prepare people for the workplace. And again, if someone comes from external world being the professor of the situation, yeah, I don't want to be like that. But the context is real what we need. In terms of educational tools, I'm teaching Birkbeck, University of London. I'm teaching for undergraduate and postgraduate, but we have moved completely to online teaching. And I have discovered a planet, really, a galaxy of tools. Yeah, a galaxy of tools if you are curious how to improve your online teaching, doing assessment online, real-time streaming. There are plenty. And a lot of them are also open source, which is good, because you can use it freely. You don't need to pay any sort of fee, and you can build on it. And when Killian was talking about the hub, yeah, in a hub, which has as, I believe, one of the first objectives is the tech education of the hub before and then you have all the other stuff that go around to develop the ideas. This set of open source tools are there for you. In the hub, you need broadband connectivity. I do not know the level of broadband connectivity in Lesbos. I imagine that is pretty good, but there are also solutions that you can empower the existing broadband connectivity on a specific area without going into technicality. So I think there are tools, there are a lot of technologies to be used. My final message really is to understand the context on one side and to apply the tech that is necessary to that context, to understand the people who are going to use it and educate that. And then I want to give another message, which in Europe we fail generally. Yeah, we are focused on a lot of smart cities, and the narrative behind smart cities is the narrative of a rich Western society. Big cities, strong economies, people will come to the city, rural areas will disappear. This is the destiny of the narrative of smart city, and should be like that. Should not be like that, because in the local Europe, in rural Europe, there is a lot of innovation going on, but we are unable to celebrate it. Yeah, I think Rudy, a person like Rudy, in the context of Lesbos, in the definition of these newcomers with the Greeks, is one of these digital champions that needs to be celebrated. We need to celebrate digital champions in local Europe. There are indigenous, between brackets, are newcomers, and celebrating not just to clap them, but to actually put money there in order to promote the ideas they can bring on, because these are people clearly with ideas. These are people who wants to do it, wants to develop, and we want that. And I think Europe needs to really take a strong turnaround on that, because we are stuck with the celebration of the Elon Musk and the blah, blah, blah. I know they are greatest people, but I do not mind, because they have the financial support also for doing what they are doing. So to wrap up, you have the tech, but I need to understand where the tech goes in the context. We have the people to use it. You need to educate the people to use it. And the digital champions need to be part of this story, independently if they are Greeks, locals, or newcomers.
Thank you very much, Saverio. So I think with Killian laying the foundation, you providing the importance of context, and the point that we want to say about the smart city component for impact. because someone, I think it was Killian as well, who said we look at problems as opportunities. And I think there's, given that there's a massive need, there's, as you may know, an international volunteer community coming from around the world to Lesbos. And if there was a place with the right context that we can look to build the right solutions that address some of the social challenges, and this is part of the ideal vision that we would like to go towards, is to create a living lab, to give context, a living lab within the structure of Killian that looks to produce relevant tech solutions that make life better for society, and some things that we can celebrate that whole piece together. And I think this panel we will follow Dimitri and Nina. I think it comes together in a fantastic way already yesterday with the conversation. So really excited to continue the discussions here, and really hope that in close.
We lost you, Vasily.
Very much for, okay.
For 20 seconds, not more.
Anyway, I would like, at the end, I'm saying it would be great to see how we can bring all these together, because there's strong links with Killian, Saverio, and yourself, Nina. So yeah, over to you, Dimitrios. And thank you very much, Saverio, for those insights. And it's all about the context, definitely. And this, yeah, thank you.